Hello! Today is the 30th of May, which makes me 13 weeks and 2 days. I wanted to do a recap of my first trimester, and I've kind of been taking notes of things I didn't expect, and there's quite a lot. Because now that I've reached my second trimester, looking back at the first one, it already feels like ages ago. What happened at the start feels like forever ago. But these are the things that I did not expect during the first trimester. The first being that I didn't expect that the worst symptoms came at the start. Now, I knew nothing about pregnancy or babies or anything like that at all prior to getting pregnant. And in my head, I always thought that the bigger you are, the more symptoms you have, because I guess baby is pressing on things, there's more hormones involved. I didn't expect that the moment the baby starts developing, that's when all of your hormones just go nuts, and I guess all of your body starts changing so rapidly, and it just never even occurred to me that that was the point at which everything changes, and I didn't prepare myself for that at all. And so I think that's why I found it really, really difficult to begin with. Because now that I'm coming into the second trimester, a lot of my symptoms have leveled out again. I'm oddly nauseous every now and then, but I'm more or less fine, which is weird because I'm further into the pregnancy, my baby's getting bigger, and yet I have less symptoms. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, second one on the list, bloating. I was convinced that I had a baby bump from 4 weeks. I'm still convinced that I had a baby bump from 4 weeks, but everyone's telling me it's bloating, it's water weight, it's blah blah blah. But also it's a bit of a pain in the arse because it happens really quickly. Suddenly all your clothes don't fit you, but you're not in maternity wear yet. So you're in that really annoying phase where just nothing fits. Now I still have like the same size bump as what I did when I was like 4 weeks, but now it looks slightly different. I think my bump has like it's just way more filled out at the top as opposed to being at the bottom. So I look rounder now as opposed to just being like bloated. Anyway, point 3, crazy smell and not being able to eat food if I could smell it. That was a weird one. Didn't know your sense of smell went through the roof. I remember Mason making me a piece of toast because I couldn't eat anything else, and he was like, let's try some bacon. And as soon as I smelled the bacon, I love the smell of bacon, but as soon as I smelled the bacon I was like, oh my god, I can't do it. And he sat on the other side of the table and I faced the other way, and he fed it to me on a fork, like cut up in tiny pieces, and I just went so I didn't have to smell it. And then it's like other things like our cleaning cupboard. Whenever I opened that cupboard, I could smell the mop and the dirt, and it would really make me want to retch. And it really isn't even that strong, but I could smell everything. On a similar note, sensory overload in general. Sounds being too loud, anything or anyone touching me. This was a big one for me, and this came out of nowhere because I've never really been like a sensory overload kind of person. As a musician, I'm really used to loud sounds and big crowds and stuff, but I really just felt suddenly very overwhelmed with things. Like even our telly, if our telly was just like one volume too loud, I was like, it's stressing me out, turn it down, I can't cope. I couldn't bear anything touching my belly, like any waistbands. Couldn't wear leggings or pants or anything like that for the first few weeks at all. I just had to wear like big loose all-in-ones. And I also couldn't hug Mason for weeks. But it made me really sad, and I got a bit emotional about it a few times because we hug all the time. Like we are very, very naturally touchy people. And whenever he'd come in to hug me, I just felt like it was like his arms were like 12 foot long and he was smothering me. And I just went really, really hot and really panicky, and it was like I couldn't breathe. It was just really odd. Because even when we sat talking to people and he'd just naturally put his arm around me, and I don't know, it's just really weird. Just didn't at all anticipate that that was even a thing, but sensory overload was massive, and that's so unlike me. Another point I've got is easily irritated. I just out of nowhere developed little tiny hatreds for things. I don't know if this is like a hormonal mood swing thing. Mason was playing this video game during my first few weeks of pregnancy, and it used to irritate the hell out of me. Don't know why. It was just a card game. It was just like solitaire. And the moment I saw it on the screen, I was just enraged. And I was like, turn it off. What are you doing? And it's so bad. It's so pathetic. I used to make him play it on mute because I couldn't bear the noise of it. I'm fine with it now. He can sit and play it for hours now. I don't care. But just out of nowhere, these little tiny things just completely triggered anger in me. And I have no idea why. Like, not to the point where I ever got like aggressive or like I actively hated him. We used to laugh about it because I knew how pathetic it was. The next point I've got is crazy exhaustion. This completely took me by surprise. I'd always heard from people you get tired when you're pregnant, and again I thought this was something that would come later on in pregnancy when you're carrying a big bump and all that extra weight. Never occurred to me that this happened at the very, very start, and oh my god, the exhaustion is like nothing I've ever felt. I just couldn't do anything, and I was napping like 3 times a day, and I've never ever been a napper. Just crazy. It's not even like I wasn't getting enough sleep. It was just like my body wasn't making enough energy. It's a really weird kind of tiredness to try and explain. And I'm a really active person. I mean, I climbed Kilimanjaro for God's sake. And then I couldn't even get off the couch for weeks. So weird. And similarly to the exhaustion, the morning sickness. Why they call it morning sickness, I don't know, because I had it from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. It was an all day thing, and whilst I was never sick, which was the most annoying part of it all because I just spent the whole time wanting to be sick and it just never happened. I couldn't make myself be sick, and I always thought if I was to be sick I would feel better. Again, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't smell anything because it made my stomach turn. And I don't know what's worse, because I know being sick is really horrible, but then the people that I spoke to who said that they were sick, they all said that they felt better after being sick. And so I never got that relief. I was just feeling sick the entire time, and it just never went away until maybe my 9-week mark, and then suddenly out of nowhere I started to feel okay. But yeah, that was just really annoying, and it really started to get me down. Actually, it had a massive impact on my mood because I just couldn't enjoy anything. So I'm hoping that doesn't come back. Another one, and this is still an ongoing issue, is dry mouth. Now, I keep reading everywhere and my pregnancy apps keep telling me that I should be over salivating. I have such a dry mouth. I can drink a full bottle of water and I'm still struggling to swallow. I wake up through the night and in the morning and my mouth is so dry. It's unbelievable. And I've just still not figured out a way of fixing this. No matter how much I drink, it doesn't go away. Next one on the list, wind. Wind and trapped wind. I had really bad trapped wind for like the first few weeks, and I had so much belly pain. It was horrible, and I kind of got worried at first because when it's your first pregnancy and you're just at the very start of it, you don't know what pain is normal, so you just instantly presume that everything is a bad sign and something's wrong. But I had really, really bad wind, and I've realised now that all the pain I had was just trapped wind because now I'm just really windy. Now it has no problem going through the system. I used to have to lie down and kind of like move a little bit like this to try and get things moving. On an equally pleasant note, constipation. That's been a joy. The past few weeks I've been totally fine. But again, first trimester, I really struggled with constipation, and again, because of the build-up, I had so much pain. And then you don't know what medication you can take that's safe for baby. I think I asked at the pharmacy and they said I could take 1 tablet, and oh my god, the pain was unreal. I think it took me like a day or 2 days for it to get everything out, and when it did come out, it was just like... Another one on the list is vivid dreams. I've had really vivid dreams every single night since being pregnant. Every single night. And they're really weird. My friend is also pregnant. She's further along than me, and when she first started on her pregnancy journey, all she used to tell me about was her crazy, crazy dreams. Next up, just being ridiculously emotional. I mean, I'm a very emotional person anyway, so I think all of the hormones just accentuated my normal sensitivities, but I cried all the time. I think I was also miserable because of the fatigue and the morning sickness, but I was really, really emotional. And not just with misery and sadness, but also like if I watched an advert on telly, I'd cry at it. If I dropped something on the floor, I'd cry about it. Everything made me cry. Again, something I mentioned earlier, odd and frequent stomach pains. And it makes you worry at first because you're very, very paranoid that it's something that's bad or something's wrong. But you get so many random aches and pains during pregnancy. So many. It could be trapped wind, it could be growing pains, it could be absolutely anything. You don't know when you're first pregnant and it's your first baby and you don't know what to expect. No one tells you you're gonna get loads of pain and it's gonna be totally fine. So the whole time I was just like, Mason, am I dying? Is my baby dying? What's going on? Now I'm 13 weeks and if I get a pain now, I'm not so worried about it. And I wish I was like this at the start, but that's a lesson that you learn over the course of the pregnancy, really. But I was surprised by just how many little random pains it triggers and just how much your brain goes into overdrive whenever you get a little pain. This final point is a really, really weird one. My ear canals, I don't know if they've like swelled or narrowed, but my ear canals are tighter and more painful, and I've never in my life had this before. If I get an itch in my ear and you do like your little itch, even that hurts. If I use a cotton bud, I can't even get it in a little bit because it's just like, before I could, get a cotton bud in and just do all the business with it. I can't even get it in now. It just hits a point and it's solid. I can't get it through and it hurts. And that's both ears as well. So both of my ears have kind of gone shoo. I don't know if it's all my little tubes inside have gone all swollen because you get a really blocked nose as well when you're pregnant, which has been very, very annoying being a singer. But I don't know if, everything maybe just swells up a little bit because you've got more blood flow. I don't know, that's my guess. But they're the things that I didn't expect during the first trimester. Now that I'm in the second trimester, let's see what's still to come. I think it's in this trimester where I start feeling the baby move for the first time, so I'm really, really excited about that. But there we go. That's an overview of my first trimester. Hope you enjoyed.